This is the AlGo Podcast, episode 2, with my friend Jennifer Benavidez. Hello.
Hello.
So Jennifer is a great variety of things. Presenter, MC, dancer, graphic designer. Am I missing anything out?
Dance instructor.
Dance instructor as well.
Okay.
To start with, just to give people a little bit more of a background, share with us the journey that you've taken to become the dancer that you are and how it evolved into getting all these other jobs, presenter, MC, everything.
So I've always loved dancing since I was young, and I've always, if music was on, I'd dance, I'd go, and then I was in kindergarten. So I'm from Texas, and we'd have during Christmas, like little Christmas fairs. And one year I was a Santa Claus, I was a snowman. So I've always done dancing, but my parents weren't for that. They were really anti-dance, actually. So it wasn't until, I didn't have any dance lessons, or maybe I had like really once in a while community dance lesson. So I didn't really find dance until I was at university. I went to University of Texas, and then I joined the ballroom dance club. And then from there, I was in ballroom dancing and I was competing. And then there was salsa, and I did more and more salsa. And I was kind of tricked into the whole salsa thing, meaning I wasn't a teacher, because in ballroom dancing back in the day, all my coaches were like, there's never a bad amateur, only bad professionals. Meaning like, because as an amateur dancer, you just dance for the hobby, for the love of it. But once you become professional, you have a bit of a responsibility. So for many years, I did ballroom dancing and salsa as an amateur. And then one year, someone needed an assistant. And I always assisted. I always helped out. And so I was assisting for the salsa lessons. And this is in Austin, Texas. And then the teacher couldn't make it, and they needed me to cover. And I was like, oh, I guess so. And then they liked that I could cover. That's how it starts, right? And then the teacher couldn't make the lessons anymore, and they really asked me to do it. And I was really nervous about becoming a teacher, because that is a pretty serious thing to become a teacher, I think, anyway. Now everyone does it now. Who isn't a teacher? No, and I had someone that was a more experienced person as my assistant. So I sort of I had someone that if I wasn't sure how to explain something, on my side. So I had Curtis is his name, Curtis. I remember him to this day. And so I wasn't by myself. And then I started teaching. And then from there, I kind of progressed. But I still kept up my training. And so this is in Austin, Texas. And then I would have to, because it was in Texas, I had to go to LA and New York for my training. So actually I brought one of my caps. So this is Los Angeles 2000. Yeah, so this is a big, this is actually from Puerto Rico. So I started doing big trips because I couldn't get the training I needed in Texas. So I would go to Puerto Rico. I went to LA Congress because I did LA style. It was called LA style. Now it's also on one. And I thought pretty good. And then I went to New York. And then I was in shock about what I saw in New York. A salsa on 2. And the ladies on 1 didn't really allow for all this body movement. I mean, this is years ago, right? This is in 2000. This is 98, 99 when I'm talking now. Now salsa's everywhere, and it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. This is where there wasn't YouTube. You had to travel for your training. And then when I went to New York, I was in shock with the way the girls moved, their rhythm, their connection with the music. And I was, because normally when you're like, I'm a Latina, obviously. You kind of look, but you don't look. You're kind of like this. You kind of look, but you don't look. And I was like staring at these girls. So that started my On 2 journey. And then eventually, I was in LA. So I did on one, all two, on one, all two. And then eventually I was in Los Angeles and someone saw me and they said, come out to Amsterdam. I had no idea where that was. I thought it was Germany. I mean, anyway, so I went to Amsterdam. I was going to teach at a festival, and I was going to stay there a month or two, and I wound up staying in Amsterdam 8 years. So I taught in Amsterdam for Extremos, and I organized festivals out there. And then eventually I found my husband, and I moved to the UK. So I've been in the UK now 12 years. I taught for LDA. I taught for many different schools out here. I'm based in Henley, Reading area, and I coach for a university. I once in a while have taught at Oxford. I taught at is it Imperial? Imperial. So I'm an independent. So I run around everywhere teaching. I teach all over the world. So now I guess I'm an international dance instructor, whatever that means. But I've been around a long time dancing and teaching and still running around.
When you said you went to LA and New York and you saw these women dancing in ways and moving in ways that you were like, wow. I haven't started my on two journey yet. I'm terrified of it. I'm still on one.
Yeah.
I don't understand how dancing on two can make you move in a different way than on one. Can you explain it? Because to me, when I look at it, I just think it's the same steps, but on one count later. Clearly, that's probably not it.
Well, this is back in the day. This is like years ago, right? Now you can dance your one like your two, if that makes any... Okay, so on two... So LA, this is back in the day. Yeah, this is like... When I say back in the day, I mean, we're talking 2000. We're talking 2000, right? It's now 23. So this is like 23, 25 years ago. Anyway, so the point is, LA used to be very powerful and just strong, and tricks. Like people would do tricks on dance floor like this. And the guys were very dominant and they would put the girls in positions. Well, that was the LA style on one. And on two, there was no tricks, not really. And the guys were more musical and not so quick. And you had time to kind of move and groove with the music. So the lady had more capability to style and have this body movement and this beautiful movement. So that was part of it. The lead was different and allowed for the lady to express herself. Now, and you held your middle. On one was dance where, because you go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, it was so fast. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So you fell more on the 1 and the 5, the 1 and the 5. It was 1, 5, 1, 5. While New York are on 2, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. You hold your middle. 1, 2, 3. You're not out there forward. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 5. While 2, I'm dancing on 2 like Eddie Torres. 1, 2, 3, I'm in the middle. 5, 6, 7, I'm in the middle. So I'm holding my middles more.
I think I get it.
Yeah, as a girl, it changes everything. But you're the lead, right? It's a different world, lead and follow. So, because as a female, I don't want to just go, go, go. I want to breathe and relax and incorporate body movement and have this idea of dancing to the end of my hair, to my fingertips. I don't mind power, 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 but there's also up here, and this idea of being in my female form and my female energy. I do lead also. I lead on 1 because I can lead on 2 a bit, but I don't have to think a lot when I lead on 1. I do think, because the lead is very different. Leading and following night and day. And it's, I've led for a long time now. I think it makes you as a teacher dynamic, and I'm able to, in a private lesson, help men at a high level go that extra step that they need. As a female, I guess a high level, God, I don't know, I've gotten very philosophical on like levels and what's a high level, because there's always something to learn. There's always something. And what's a high level? You could have a bad day. You could have a bad dance. You could not be in the mood. You could drink too much. The shoes could hurt. and then you're not high level that day, whatever.
So what makes a high level to you now?
High level, like if I have like this idea of like being one with the music. So I talk about salsa as in like, going to the beach. So you go to the beach, right? And you go, some people won't even go in the water. They look at the beach and they enjoy it and they watch. Like people watch salsa, they see it, right? Some people, they put their toe in and try it. Some people take a swimming lesson and learn to swim. Some people take a surfing lesson and learn to master the waves a little bit. I have died and I am the water. I get emotional when I say that, but it's like, and some days the water's like this, some days the water's like that. Depends who's hanging out, who's there at the beach. It's like a lifestyle and a mindset. So I don't know what's high level. I guess being able to spin, being confident, and then there's days you're not confident. I don't know. Following the best you can, trying to enjoy yourself, trying to follow the guy, and then being compassionate with the newer dancers, having patience with yourself, patience with, I think for me, a high-level dancer is someone that gives back to the community at this point. Because it's not about you. It's about our community, if that makes any sense. And whatever community that is, if it's salsa or bachata. And because it's an art form we're doing. Don't get me wrong, it's commercial too. We have to have a commercial. But it's also like this idea of embracing where you are in your journey and embracing people that decide to be a part of your surrounding in their journey, and having patience and love. That for me is high level, I guess, beyond the dance steps. And training and studying and never stop training. Never stop training. I think that's it. You can never stop training. Because some people stop training. I don't know.
It's an interesting answer because it seems like the more experience you gain, high level goes actually less and less about the dance and more about how you approach the nature of the dance. So giving back to your community, like I'm 2 years into dancing. If I think high level, I think, okay, really good technique, good connection, and good musicality. But then to compare that with what you said, it's like, okay.
For me, that's a given.
That's a given.
That's a given.
But then to get to high level, it's, okay, how are you compassionate with the newer dancers? How much do you give back to the community? How out of your ass are you a little bit as well? Do you keep up with the training? And it seems like, I'm still trying to get my head around what you said because it's the ocean analogy I've never heard. And it seemed like painfully beautiful. Like I felt the pain when you said it.
The sacrifice from, there's a woman named Maria Torres. I was in Puerto Rico at one of the biggest ones back in the day, and she was training us as a class. Susan Montero was in Puerto Rico there. Tropical Jam was in Puerto Rico. Susan Montero was there. If you don't know,
great.
She's amazing. She's one great. Of the OGs. I'm a little bit of an OG too, believe it or not. But anyway, Susanna was competing with Leon Rose. I was there. I watched it. They did a vampire show. I worked for Susanna. I emceed Leon.
What's a vampire show?
They had a vampire. Like that was like the theme of the show. Like a vampire. We used to do themes back in the day. But what's my point? Oh yeah. So Maria Torres, who is an amazing choreographer, amazing hustle dancer out of New York. This is not Eddie Torres' wife. This is another Maria Torres. Anyway, she was training us, warming us up for the workshop. And she talked about sacrifice. And I guess she said she didn't say sacrifice, but she talked about these legs, they're from dancing. And she's warming us up. She was one of the only people to warm us up because she was a proper friggin' dance instructor. And then I realized, the sacrifice that we all do in our journey of dance, whatever it is, for me, it's been leaving my home country, leaving friendships behind that when I did get the opportunity to go to Amsterdam, people were like, Jennifer, you're not ready. People were afraid for me, and I was afraid too, but I had to take that journey. You know, I had boyfriends that I loved dearly, loved me. They were like, you're going out dancing again? You're going to go dancing again? You know, yeah, I'm going to go dance again. I had just been to Houston with a big dance training, and I wanted to go out, and it's the Monday, and I wanted to wear a little top. And he's, you know, and I remember one serious boyfriend, and we were going through a breakup, and he was like, you know, when you stop dancing, we'll get back together. Well, you know what? Never did. And my husband now is like, if I'm unhappy, he's like, don't you have to go dancing somewhere? You know? So there's like sacrifice your comfort, your feet, the injury, your time, you're tired, the money, you know, dance shoes, my dance shoes, 140, 150, you know, my dance training, ballroom training, 150, 200 an hour. Salsa training, I still do salsa training. So, you know, the trips, there's sacrifice, and that's the reality of it. You're going to have to sacrifice on this journey, and I think people don't realize that.
Did you realize it going into it? Did you expect and prepare like, okay, this is going to be a long ride, or it's like looking back, actually it's a lot more pain than I thought it was?
Well, it got difficult. I always wanted to believe in love, right? And I always wanted like I was really in love with this guy. And it was a really difficult breakup because he just didn't understand the dancing. So I had to get my degree. I have a degree in journalism from University of Texas in Austin, Hook'em Horns. And I had started working. I wasn't dancing professional at the time. I was dancing for fun and hobby and traveling, but I was still traveling. And I had to get my degree, and I had a full-time job. So I had to make a decision that I'm going to stop dancing for a year to get my degree. That means no salsa for a year, because I had to get my degree. I needed one more class. I needed Spanish. Fucking hell. Sorry about beep. I am Latina, and my Spanish is so bad, but my parents didn't raise me to speak because Texas, whoop, whoop. So I had to go back to do 4 seasons of Spanish, and I had to give up dancing. So my boyfriend at the time, who I was pretty serious with, was happy because I'd work full-time and then go to my classes, so I was always home. And I told everyone, I was like, I'm going to stop dancing for a year or whatever until I got my degree, because I had to get my degree, because education, you have to have a backup. You must get your degrees. If you're going to get a degree or whatever you're studying, do get your backup, because you can't just dance, or whatever. Have a backup. So anyway, but then the last year is when I started assisting. I told you already. Someone said, "Oh, Jennifer, we need someone to help out." And I thought, okay, I was in the last few month left. So I thought, okay, I'd done all the work, and I was almost pretty much gonna get my degree. And then I started, and then that last year I was getting my degree. So then my boyfriend was like, I was going back to dancing, and I was going out more, and he didn't like it. And then after that, I got my degree. I started doing more and more dancing. So I was changing, and that's what I guess the sacrifice, meaning like I went through a big breakup, and that was hard. And then I guess from my advice, anyone out there, people if going through breakups, or anyone going through a breakup or change in their life, the people you leave behind, you meet amazing people. And I would say, I cry. I don't know why I'm crying, because this guy, I loved him to death. He passed away recently. I talked to him before he did. I was like one of the loves of his life, actually. But I care for him to this day. And he's up in the earth. He's on, up there somewhere. But he wasn't my husband. He wasn't my husband. And my husband now would never tell me, don't dance. Never. Because that's my life calling. So you never know what you sacrifice. But I'm just saying, if you're going through a hard time out there, know there's better things for you. And yeah, you're riding your journey, and you're going to go through some heartaches and sacrifice, but beautiful things are coming. So anyway, sorry, it's a long-winded answer.
Along that journey, how do you deal with the moments where you feel like, I'm sure you've had them where you feel like maybe no one understands you, or you don't have anyone on your side, or you just feel very alone, and at some points maybe even questioning, is this something worth it?
I still have those discussions with myself to this day. Sometimes I'll have a challenge and I'll think, is this worth it? You know, I'm building a school and it's so challenging because I'm building a team, and it's difficult to, it's a lonely trip for people to see your vision as a woman organizer and a woman instructor. It's not always fun because it's a male-dominated industry, I would say. Men treat men very different. Men treat women very different. So you need to have a good home. You need to have a home base. Like I would say, when you feel loved and cherished at home, not be so desperate to be loved and liked. We all want to feel accepted. We all want to feel part of a bigger whole. So I would say having faith in a higher power, having people like you need that one person that believes in you. Because I know my husband tells me to this day now that I don't realize so many things, from how pretty I am to how talented I am, and not just with the dancing. I do a lot of different things, and I've always had that. I think it stems from being from a child. But if you have that one or two people in your corner, and I guess if you ask for help, and that's something I'm bad at, is asking for help, it'll get you through things. And if you don't have anyone to turn to, like I said, either your faith, whatever your faith is, or, and I know it's going to sound crazy, I'm going to say this. So I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. I'm into self-help and I'm into therapy. If you haven't gotten therapy, get in it right now. So I'm a survivor of domestic abuse. So you have to go read books and get help, and know that there's better for you out there. And if you feel alone, you're so not alone. You just gotta go get help. It was listening to positive podcasts. At the same time, don't be a sheep. So when I say don't be a sheep, I mean, listen to things and be objective. Listen to different things, because there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people want your time and attention. Trust yourself in your heart and your intuition. Try to go deep in yourself and find that pain, and don't be afraid of that pain. Question your motivation. Question other people's motivation. Stay safe. I'm talking to the girls. Stay safe. Girls, stay safe. Stay safe. It's hard as a girl out there. Anyway, but at least there's the Me Too movement and stuff. I mean, it's a different journey now. It's a different journey for the boys and for the girls. I'm just saying that. Very different. Yeah. So anyway, so I guess you're not alone, and there's help. If you want to reach out to me, you can. I'm so bad at responding, but reach out. I can talk to you. Going more towards the dance scene of things. Excuse me. What are some of the misconceptions that people have about dance and salsa in general? So you bridge the gap between dancers and non-dancers. You do a lot of work with people who even the idea of learning a basic step is terrifying. What are some of the common things that you see, because you've had years of experience teaching? I have no idea. I'm sure people don't know. What are a lot of the things people either get wrong or people kind of misunderstand about dance, anything like that? So Yeah, I have a lot of experience with non-dancers. We call them non-dancers, and that's not to be rude, but people that are very new and nervous to dancing. And I would say I'm very, like you said, very experienced with that. So some of the things I see are they're so in their head and they don't want to get outside their comfort zone. That's one of the big things I see. That they are or they don't have a friend to go with, so they think, oh, I won't go. Or maybe they had actually a bad experience as a child and they were like the really tall one, or they went to a dance class and they were forced. So you see a lot of people already have these obstacles to even get to the dance class. And then once they get to the class, so depending where they learn to dance, because there's so many different ways to attend a dance class. There's like an online class, or there's going to a nightclub, or going to like bar salsa, like a really big place, which is hectic and crazy.
That's where I learned.
Yeah, it's a bit hectic and crazy.
It's very full on.
It's full on. Mm-hmm. You may not get the attention you need.
Yep.
And or people sometimes they'll go to a local class, like a small local class, where you don't know. Not to be rude, you don't know the level of instruction you're going to get. I don't want to sound rude when I say that, because you can find some amazing instructors at your local schools. So depending on how people, when they attend their first class, their experience can be so many different things. But so by the time someone comes to me and they are new to dancing, what I've seen a lot is this idea where they think dancing is free and flowy and just go. And they want to relax, so they kind of just get all relaxed. When no, you need to have a tight core. You need to have posture. I see a lot of that. People are like this, or they don't know where their weight distribution is, if it's in their feet, where to put it on their feet. And then because they're thinking about so many things, they can't connect to music. And that's even before the lead and follow. Oh, lead and follow, it all goes to shit at that point. And I joke and I don't, but, because we are in the lead follow dances, not just salsa or bachata. Ballroom is lead and follow. Lindy hop, hustle, all these other dances I do also. So I've really learned to find a way to get people to understand lead and follow. And so you see that a lot, that the guys are afraid to lead, the girls are afraid to follow. Not afraid, they don't want to follow.
Resistant.
And they don't know. So I have different tricks, because dance is movement we do day to day. Dancing is not something, we're all dancers. We all dance through life. It's just put to rhythm, put to maybe a certain choreography, a certain dialect in the dance. And then if it's partner dancing, it's this nonverbal communication. So I've seen a lot of people, they think that dancing, okay, so I'm going to say a little secret. We make it look fun and easy. As professionals, we make it look fun and easy. It actually takes a little bit of effort, especially the salsa. I'm not going to lie. But once you do the effort and you learn the new skill set from your body movement to communicating, lead and follow, then you have a whole skill set. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to just go have fun in dance class. And they don't realize, yipes, I got to learn a few things.
There's a lot of learning you need to do.
Yeah, a lot of learning. And a lot of patience. People, it's very confronting. I've taught so many different people in so many different countries, different socioeconomic levels. The men, when I have a successful man, whatever success is, meaning maybe in his job or his, or his financial, whatever, and they go, dancing levels it out. We don't go to dance class and we think, oh, I make this much money, or I'm like the CEO or whatever, or I'm a professor at Oxford. I've had all that. And it's confronting when they can't do something and they have to be back in the student seat. And you see a lot of times people don't like that. It's very confronting. They don't like being in the unknown again. So it's learning, it's fun, but people have to realize that, oops, I'm going to have to be in a state of curiosity, in a state of where, okay, I'm going to learn something new. And it's all okay. It's all okay. And also because it's partner dance, this acceptance and patience with each other. Because you see the girls get a little bit annoyed, and then the guys, it can be a downward spiral, actually. So a big misconception is that when people go, well, how long will it take to learn to dance? Well, how long is a piece of string? I mean, what do you want out of it? So, there's so many misconceptions. But end of the day, as long as someone tries and they stay curious and have patience and have fun and can laugh at themselves, you gotta laugh at yourself. I laugh at myself all the time. So
it's a very humbling thing, and I can only speak from the perspective as a man, because that's what I am. I think with a lot of men who have this problem, it's easier to just say it very bluntly. You need to manhandle a little bit in a respectful way. You're not literally doing it, but I think if we think we need to do it a bit, it helps get new dancers past that initial touch barrier. So salsa obviously isn't as intimate as bachata, but I watched the dancers' social or routine, whatever. We would be in a close hold, but there was still so much distance. I was even afraid...
Oh, for salsa?
No, for bachata.
Oh, yeah.
And I would be afraid to even connect fully here. Like, it'll be around their waist, but there's air. There's space between us.
Yeah.
And even doing isolations, we're not making them do the move. We're suggesting what we want them to do. But even then, there is going to be an element of you might need to, if there's good tension with your partner, you're going to need to resist it a little bit, because that's how they get the input and you get the feedback from them. And that's a big thing for men. It's a big fear of you don't want to be too much, especially when you're new, because they don't know what they're doing. You don't know what you're doing in the moment. And it's a very humbling thing. And you do put yourself on display, because I think any of the arts are very personal for most people, whether it's singing in front of people, whether it's speaking, whether it's dancing, it's all the same. So I used to be so self-conscious of any kind of dance. The only dance I ever did was maybe 2 hip-hop classes when I was 13, and I was so self-conscious.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm going to thank Antonio, my best friend. If it wasn't for him, end of this month will be 2 years that I started dancing.
Wow.
And it would have been the 2-year mark since I went to Bar Salsa Temple for the first time on a Friday. The quick story is, I knew him, I met him in the old gym I used to work at. He was a member. We befriended, we bonded, we became good friends. I always had a fascination with salsa music, Latin culture, everything. And then after 6 months, I found out, actually, he teaches as well, teaches salsa. I was like, oh, really? Maybe this is a good opportunity for me to try. He said, I go to this place called Bar Salsa Temple. I was like, oh, what's that? He's like, hey, just come on a Friday. Like, okay. So the way it works is, the music starts around 7:30 or 8 or whatever. They have the DJ teacher dude go on the stage. He leads like a simple beginner warm-up for everyone to do solo dances facing the front. Your basic step, your side step, your back step, right turns, whatever. We were standing in the VIP section. It's not a VIP section, but they call it the VIP section. We were overlooking the dance floor. And so many people at the front, like, I was just watching. I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And Antonio just nudged me and said, come on, let's go. Like, oh, wow, we're going to try that now? Like, I wasn't ready for it. He said, no, we're going to go to the front. And I was so shit scared, but he created such a safe, welcoming environment for me to not feel so... He was so supportive. For all the shit that I give him about what he taught me was correct, incorrect, whatever, the one thing he taught me was how to love the dance, how to feel the music, but he created such a welcoming space that I did not care to go in front of like maybe 20, 30 people and I was lost. It was hard. I didn't know what I was doing. But he created such an environment that I could become a learner again, and I wouldn't be that self-conscious. So now, for example, something that makes me very self-conscious is singing in front of people. I used to have stage fright, used to have dance fright. Now I'm considerably better at public speaking or speaking on camera or whatever it is. Dancing, not a problem with dancing in front of people. Singing, still terrified, but that's a different thing. And going back to what my point was, dance is very humbling as well. And I can link this back to, I used to do jiu-jitsu a lot. There is a stark contrast, but an ironic overlap of when you're dancing, men and women, of course, get self-conscious as well when we interact with the opposite sex. So if you're having a bad dance and maybe you don't know what you're doing, you feel shy, you can see they're not really having that much fun. It makes us feel very like closed off.
It's the ultimate.
It's the ultimate test. It's like a judgment.
it's like, I mean, well, not to be rude, but like dancing her well. I mean, you can use any word in there, but it's like, did you give her a good dance? You know, yeah. Maybe it doesn't sound, but that, yeah. So, guys, it's a lot of pressure for guys.
It is.
You know? and ladies, too, where you... Did you dance her well? No, but yeah, we use that term, you know? And guys don't want to hear it. And it comes down to the end of the day, judgment. No one, we're all fearful of judgment. But you know what? And people say, no judgment, no judgment. We judge.
There's always judgment.
There's always judgment.
And there should be to a degree.
Well, I judge the street, to cross the street when I drive. So when it comes to dancing, it's this idea of when you're saying learning to lead and the connection with someone, you know, I tell my beginner guys, how do you drive a car? How do you ride a bicycle? There's certain gym elements I talk about, our connection with different, is it a lat pull down? Yeah. So with a lat pull down, I'm not just like going, you know, I'm connecting, and then I use my back. I'm not just using my arms, I'm using my back. Right? Is that wrong?
No, you're right.
Yeah, so
I really like that example.
Yeah, well, I have so many more. No, I've had to learn to find different things that people, because there's the element of movement and the element of connecting with someone. And then there's dancing, and then the judgment, and then like, did I dance her well? And she's giving you like the side eye, and you're like, and it just goes crazy. It spirals down, you know, down.
And this links back to what you're saying about to be a high-level dancer. We were all beginners and we were all making other people have not that much fun in the dance. It is partially, if not a lot, our responsibility to encourage the new people and still dance. So especially being a teacher aside, because then it's expected of you. It's the right thing to do. You taught them, so see how they are, even if they're a beginner. Even if you don't teach, you were a beginner. You gave people some shit dances at some point. They had the patience with you. Now, you're not going to encourage anyone else to learn and grow if you don't dance with them as well. It's okay to admit and say that we want good dancers. Sometimes we go out, we want to have a technical dance, really good connection.
You wouldn't work this hard in your dancing if you did not go out and want a good dance. I would not work this hard and look like this and not eat and, you know, get the hair if I didn't want some good dances. But I also know I got to give back to my community. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And if you don't buy into that, you're selfish. At the same time, I tell all my beginners, go dance with higher level dancers. I tell all my people in my school, hey, be nice to the beginners. Be nice to the beginners. And I tell, one of the first times I was learning a dance, waltz. I was at the University of Texas, and I was new at waltz. And I was messing up my waltz box. And the guy was going, getting frustrated with me.
Getting dramatic?
Yeah, he was, and I thought, that can do one or two things. That can do one of many things. For many people, maybe that's the only time they're going to dance. Maybe that's the only time. Maybe if that was someone else, I would have said, this is not for me. But it was Jennifer. So I thought, motherfucker, I'm going to get so fucking good. I'm going to get so good. I'm going to whip this waltz box's ass. And now look, I'm a dance instructor. I travel, you know, teach here. So thank you for that. But, you know, so yeah, I mean, everyone's going to get affected differently about this community and giving back. But at the same time, beginners shouldn't always pick on the same advanced person. You can't just do that.
Can't just leech onto them.
If your teacher looks tired, be nice to us too. Sometimes the beginners, and I do dance with my beginners, but guys, I'm trying to DJ and organize the night and get payments. Y'all need to go get someone else. No, because they're all scared of each other, and they know I'm like, you know, some people are afraid of me, some people aren't afraid of me. But I'm like, I'm trying to DJ, bro. Like, go on. Let me get the music ready. Because, you know, we're on a budget. Anyway. So if I don't accept a dance from someone, then I try to get them for the next dance, for sure. For sure. Or if I'm just tired, I'm tired. My feet hurt. Sorry.
And it's okay to be tired. And it's okay to go with the intention of wanting the good dances, but give back to the community. There was this, I don't remember who it was, some big dance name. I think it was a dude. He was saying there's this weird politics with dance schools now. I'm sure it exists. I'll take his word for it. I don't know it. He said there's this weird politics where It's like, if you are the student of our school, you shouldn't be going to these socials, you shouldn't be going there, you serve us. In the same way, if someone who was a beginner then becomes a high-level dancer, refuses to dance with the beginners, it's like, no, dance served me. And again, it all links back to what you were saying about high-level dancer. It's actually not dance serving me. It's now time for me to serve the community. It's time for me to serve the students that I'm teaching. Before the camera cut out, we were saying how I'm surprised you get in your head as well.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
From my perspective, it's all perspective. Yeah. Getting in your head is perspective, but you've been in the game for like decades. You danced with all of the OGs.
Yeah.
To me, I would think, how could you be in your head? But then at the same time, I guess someone who's new and has 1 month of experience looking at me, they might think, how can you get in your head? It's perspective.
I mean, it's just normal I think it's just the human condition. The human condition, we want to be loved and accepted, and yeah. So, I'm looking to see who's recording. Love and accepted, and just this doubt. I think we all have this like, this doubt sometimes, am I good enough? Am I worthy? And it's always there, and we have to fight it, you know? It just means you care. I mean, if you're worried, fear just means prepare. That's the signal for fear.
Ooh.
It just means to prepare.
I like that.
Yeah. If you feel fearful, what does prepare mean? Prepare means, okay, I have my dance shoes, or maybe I'm a stage fright. Then you prepare your material. So all I can do is look at the emotion and go behind it. Look at the emotion like it's on a movie, and think it's on a screen, and then go behind it and think, okay, why am I doing this? Analyze my behavior. So yeah, when I do feel like I'm not good enough and stuff, it's my head saying, Jennifer, because I have been too busy, I'm not training enough, or training at the level I need to train. Because it's one thing to dance and to teach, is another thing to train, you know. So it's because we cannot lie to ourselves. We can to a point, but we know inside. Like right now, I'm currently not training dancing. I'm being a little bit naughty about it, and I'm not training physically. And I'm being there's a little voice in my head going, Jennifer, you're not training. You know, I'm very physically active already, but I know that I need to. I know I'm not doing what I need to do to be at a level I want to stay at. And if you don't, you lose. You don't use it, you lose it in anything. So anyway, I don't know. Point was.
Point is, fear is prepare. We get in our heads. That's just how we are.
Yeah.
And if we're getting in our heads, it might mean there's something to change as well. So I'm sure if you're going through a bout of not training, you're more likely to get in your head about being self-conscious about asking people to dance. And the more you train, the less likely that doubt is going to pop up.
Yeah. Or if girls are worried, I hate to say it, physical. I mean, right now you look at, not to be rude, but you look at bachata, the girls are all hot and thin. So girls, I mean, it's confronting as a female dancer to look a certain way. And it's a bitter pill to swallow. Do I need to look a certain way? I have swallowed that pill. Meaning I want to look a certain way. That means there's things I can eat and not eat. And there's a sacrifice thing in there again. And, they say, don't hate the players, hate the game. And don't even hate. Just know this is how it is. If you want to change it,
learn the game.
Learn the game. Know that if I want to look a certain way on camera, I got to look a certain... you got to do some stuff for it. Period.
That's a good point you bring up. And we... as advanced and smart and developed and mature as whatever as we are, we have caveman brains, and there's always going to be a primitive part of us. And what you said about all the hot, thin women in the bachata scene and how it affects you as a woman, and I'm sure most men think this as well. If I see a dude who's like salsa or bachata, whatever, a great dancer in a dance that I want to get better at, a part of my brain is always going to go, yeah, he's really good, but his body isn't that nice. So, I feel like that really arbitrary thing to, boost my ego and not feel that sad. But if I see a dude, what's his name? The dance couple, for example. I got a bit of a man crush on him. Kike and Nahir. Yeah. Nahir, he's tall. He's built. Pretty sure he has tattoos, but even if he doesn't matter. And he's an amazing dancer. I look at him, I think, shit. Yeah. He's really good. That's just, he's the whole package. And when I look at...
but he can only be one place at one time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That one guy.
Yeah.
So, Yannette Fuentes, I don't know if you know who she is. Yannette, right? She's one of the top girls. She's really, really good. And I was teaching in Amsterdam Salsa Festival, and I was doing a lady styling the same time as Yonette Freitas. And I thought, who's going to go to my lady styling? Like, honestly, who's going to go? Yonette's teaching. Well, you know what? I had 20 girls in my lady styling at the same time as Yonette. And I was like, what? And I realized that girls came to me, some of them were newer dancers. Some of them were too afraid to go to Yonette's class. Some of them knew me from, other people said, no, Jennifer's great, try her out. So people came for me for different reasons, but there's room for all of us. There's only one Yonette out there, there's only one me out there, there's only one you out there. So there's room for all of us in our own little place. And I need to remember that too sometimes. I think, oh, who am I? I'm not good enough. Well, you know what? I come with my capabilities and my ability and my take on things. And I love Yonette. Yonette, oh my God, when I see her, we like, oh, I love that girl. And we're all here to shine, and we're all here to train and keep on dancing.
Especially because dance is a creative thing. The amount of people, and I'm sure you know loads as well, if I ask them, what do you want from dance? They'll say, oh, I want to be the next Daniel and Desiree. I want to be the next Marco and Sam. I'm like, you won't, one, because you're not them. It's fine if you want to say, I want to get to the same level of fame or maybe even reputation or notoriety, whatever it is. But there's just something about that rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, but where are you in that? You can't be Daniel and Desiree because you're not Daniel and Desiree. You are John and Jane. You are Bob and Ashley or something. I don't know. But maybe that comes with time as well. The more in your dance journey you get, the more you discover what your style is. Because that's how I learned. I'm not really an improviser at all. I need to leech onto someone's style, try and copy it exactly as I can, and then eventually leech onto someone else's and do some kind of hybrid amalgamation of everything together. So that's why when my Antonio, he's a dancer by heart. He's always been a dancer. It's in Latino culture. The one thing he does not know, he doesn't know what it's like to be a non-dancer. And I know everyone's a dancer, but he doesn't know what it's like to not be able to dance. I do, and it was still very fresh. So every time he's like, oh, just do this, just feel it. I'm like, I don't think you realize that feeling the music is a skill. Yes, you need the knowledge of what is rhythm, tempo, connection, flow, blah, blah, blah. But to feel it is sometimes natural for people, but sometimes you need to develop it and work it. In the same way, again, jiu-jitsu, for example, there's something, so when you spar together, it's called rolling. When you roll, you can either roll competition style, so you need the win, you do your best moves, you try and submit the other person, or you get into a flow roll. A flow roll is a dance. It's an exchange of techniques. Maybe I'm on the bottom, I do a sweep, I attempt a submission, I allow him to escape, he reverses it, blah, blah, blah. We get into a flow of this move to that move to that move. That's a skill as well. To get into that flow of whether it's martial arts or dance, it doesn't come naturally to everyone. And I forgot where I was going with this.
So I'm gonna jump in on this.
Yes, please.
So I work a lot with non-dancers, and recently I did Pride in Amsterdam, and I have so that's basically working with total non-dancers, and some dancers too. Teach them a choreography. We have to be in unison, and we have to then be on the boat and do this. And I have a lot of people come up after me. So I've done this for many years, this gig. And it's one of my best. I love this gig because I work with people that are afraid to dance, that have never done choreography, let alone group choreography. So natural dancers and non-natural dancers. So I've worked with so many people that I understand people that are not natural to dance. I'm a natural dancer. So natural dancers like us, in the beginning, tell us to repeat something twice. We can't. Tell us to learn a choreography. We can't. We move. And then I had to learn from being a natural dancer to learn to be, I don't know if skilled, or you learn technique and you learn structure, technical dancer. I struggle being a technical dancer sometimes too. I just want to go everywhere, which can be messy. So I still work on my technical stuff and my technique because I'm a natural dancer. So, but I have worked with non-dancers or non-natural dancers for so long that I can get in their head. And that's a skill I've learned, to be able to get them to find their dancer, to find their movement, which makes them a dancer. Dancing is movement. We all move. We're all in this world. So like, again, I work with Pride, and, you know, you were there when someone came up to me and was like, I'm a nurse, and I thought I could never do this. I mean, I wish I recorded this guy. And he was like, I still remember, I think he did it 3 years ago? And he was so thankful, and he was genuine. I thought, and I just still remember this day. And that's what these stories I get. I also teach wedding couples that are afraid to dance together. And not salsa, I do all types of dancing.
That must be beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's the fears and obstacles they go through to get them to move together. I really have a knack now. I've found different ways to find the dancer in people. Because even the natural I can talk to natural dancers, but I've really learned to figure out the non-dancers or the non-natural dancers, which I have to question that. When someone says, oh, I don't dance, that's fear talking. Fear. So, okay, hold on. Which leads to this idea of fear and using dance as a tool for personal growth. So, everything we want is in our comfort zone, right? There's our comfort zone. This is Tony Robbins talking. I'm a big Tony Robbins person. It changed my life. So if I can help someone change their life, then... Well, I believe dance changes life. I believe dancing. And the more movement we do, the more joy we have, the more healthy and fulfilled life we will have. If you're sad... So I did this Robbins course, and when I moved to Amsterdam... I'm going to make this a really short... We're running out of time here. I moved to Amsterdam. I was living my best life. I was... international instructor, I was making money, I was sought after, but I was battling depression. I was at my house battling depression, and then I go teach, and I was happy, I was fine, and I go home, and then like this. And I didn't realize until I went to a Robbins course that we did an exercise, and the deal was this. They said, get in a peak state of sadness. So when I'm in a peak state of sadness, I'm working with someone I didn't know. We're all in a big room. I was like this. I don't move. I literally don't move. When I'm really, really sad, I really don't move. And then, so they're observing you. And then they said, okay, shake that off, shake it off. Go into a peak state of happiness. So peak state of happiness. And I was like, I'm dancing. So then I had this epiphany. I had this thing I realized because I was new to Holland and new to the weather. It's so cold. It's not Texas. So cold that I'd wake up in the morning and do this. I'd huddle by the fire, but then I'd get my bicycle to go to work. I felt good. I would teach and I would feel good. I'd come home and I'd get by. So I was keeping myself in this state of sadness by not moving. So I'm a big believer in movement to keep the energy but I didn't know that unless I went for help. And I went for help by going to that Tony Robbins course. So now I feel part of it, my mission is to get everyone dancing, even if they don't think they can dance. Because I believe the more movement you have, the better for your brain, the better for everything. So dance can definitely be connection with yourself and connection with your fellow community and people. COVID, we stopped dancing. We stopped connection. And boy, oh boy, was that hard. So you know what? Dance until you can't dance anymore. Honestly, you learn things about yourself, about people, you learn communication, you realize, boy, I need to stretch more. You learn so much through dancing, and you don't have to be a professional. You just move, do whatever dance. I don't care. I'm a bit partial to salsa and bachata, but go do Lindy Hop, go do hustle, go do Zumba. Just shake your butt, Anyway, take my course, online course.
That is a really good thing you bring up, that when we're sad, we don't move. Because I'm thinking back, like, the past few months, every moment I've been sad has never been when I've been moving. It's always when I'm sitting down, doing nothing. And yeah, that's your thoughts creeping
in your head.
It's a mental thing as well. But when they say movement is medicine, movement is happiness, so I'm a personal trainer. That's what I tell my clients all the time. It's not just get to the gym, lift weights. It's get to the gym and do some stretching. Get on the treadmill, go for a walk outside, go for a run, rock climbing, take up martial art, do dance. Something that makes you move, because it's there's this guy on Instagram. I think it was Coach Goodman. It's Coach Goodman on Instagram. He said, there is virtually nothing, no problem in the world that gets worse by going for a walk, for example.
Yeah.
And dancing helps as well.
Yeah.
And I like that. A question we're going to finish off with, which is going to be a big what if, is where do you see your life would be or could have gone if you were never dancing, if you had no ties to it at all?
So the simple answer for that is, I was put on this earth to dance, so that wouldn't have been a possibility. I was put on this earth. That is my life calling, to dance in whatever capacity, meaning sometimes I wish I started at 3, but I didn't. Sometimes I found it at 17, 18, and I did. So I think dancing, I have to have, well, you know, we all get older and we all get injury. So I don't look forward to not dancing. I'm going to have to always dance somehow or enjoy it. So I don't know.
So the question just isn't, it's not a
for
question.
For me, it was not even like, it couldn't have been ever. My parents didn't support my dancing. I had boyfriends that said not to dance. You know what? I still danced. So that wouldn't have been a possibility. Yeah. So,
before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to promote? Anything up and coming you have to tell people?
I didn't show him all my book of all my gigs. This is some of them. So guys, I just wanted to promote Amsterdam. I lived there 8 years, amazing place. We just came back. We were like having fun there. So Amsterdam Bachata Festival is coming up in September, and also the Amsterdam International Salsa Festival coming up. Use code SALSA Jennifer. You save 10%. Yeah, whatever you do, guys, and you're out there, follow me on Instagram, Salsa Jennifer. If you have a question, shoot it to me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And keep on dancing.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes.
And we will see you sexies next time.
Perfect. 1 second left of recording.
Ah, Jesus.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can.
This was really fun.
Ooh.